Hello. I think I got it. I think I got it. Let me know if everything is running smoothly on everyone else's end, if it's actually working, if people can actually see and hear me. I think mic is connected. Everything looks okay from this end. Don't know what happened, but the little go live thing was just not there. So, bit of a rough start, but we're here now. Hopefully the live is coming through for everyone. I thought it was my internet because it kept saying like it wasn't connected, which would not be unlike my internet because it is not very good. So, okay, looks and sounds good for you. That's good. Hello, Amber. Sash is here. Lacey's here. Okay, I guess it's running. And I'm very excited because we are discussing today. Little fires everywhere. Very excited to talk about this one with everyone. I think if my memory is correct, the people who I can see in the chat, we did read it. But for anyone who is watching the replay, because I know last time some people told me they watched the replay because they couldn't make it, we'll start with no spoilers and then we will go into the full spoiler chat. I'm going to press this button. I don't know if it's going to... Oh no, I shouldn't have clicked that. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Oh gosh. All right. So, just to double check, everyone in the chat, did we read the book? And if so, what did you rate it? Also, how did you read it? Physical, audio, ebook. You read it a few years ago. Okay. That's okay. I don't expect people to reread. I know I picked like backlist books, and last month a lot of people also said that they had read it a while ago. But I will give you a recap again. So hopefully that will jog your memory if you didn't. Also, did anyone watch the show? I didn't watch the show because I didn't want to confuse the book and the show like for the discussion. So I actually haven't watched it yet. I did watch the trailer. But yeah, I haven't watched the show. I'm not really a TV girl. So I don't know, that's a big commitment because like the episodes are like an hour long each, and that is like a long amount of time to commit to one thing when I don't really watch TV anyway. But I did hear, I know Jan said that she likes the TV show. So I could be convinced to watch the show. I might like watch it here and there, maybe. I'm just not a TV series girl. It's like, and there's like 20-hour-long episodes or something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, you listened to audio, gave it 5 stars. Yay. I wasn't planning to until you picked it, but I'm glad I gave it a try. 4.5. Yay. I wasn't sure if you would like it, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it and I didn't make you pick up something that you did not like. Yes, classic recap coming. I will admit my PowerPoint today is not as detailed as last time, because last time there was like a lot of different things to discuss, whereas this book is like one overarching theme of the book to kind of go over. So it's not as detailed, but I do have some slides to show you. You want to watch the show? Yeah, I could be convinced. Like I don't know. I feel like my TV show taste and my book taste do not always line up. I don't know if that's weird or if anyone else is the same. Like, this is like definitely the type of, like, I knew I was going to love this. By the way, I gave it 5 stars because this is like the type of thing that I like, but I don't know if this is the type of TV show I like. I just like easy, like mindless TV shows, funny things. Like, I don't really like this. I don't know, but I may watch it. We'll see. Kindle. Okay. Yeah, I own the physical copy, clearly. I bought this used. And then I also got the ebook and the audiobook because I was like, if I'm reading it at night, I can't like be reading this. So I had the ebook for night vision reading, and then I listened to the audiobook as well. But I realized, because I was reading the ebook obviously to begin with, so I didn't notice, but I bought this used, and the person who like the person who read it before me left annotations in it, like not the same type of annotations that I have. Like they have like useful things, like when something is referenced, they obviously looked it up. Like when Jacobs Field was mentioned, it said down the annotation said Jacobs Field is a baseball park in Cleveland, the Jake. The Gund is a multi-purpose area in Cleveland. Yeah. So they like looked up things. My annotations are usually just like, ha ha ha. Or I write like, oh, rolling my eyes. Oh, I'm out of focus. I don't know. Yeah, so that was exciting to see someone's thoughts in the book, but it wasn't really their thoughts. It was more like, yeah, they Googled things to know what it meant. But no plans to watch the show just because I don't have or want Hulu. Yeah, it's different in Australia. Ours is, we don't have Hulu. I think it's on like Prime Video for Australia, which I do have at the moment. So I could watch it, but I don't know. I think it depends if I can get the TV show. Well, there you go. You're in Australia, so it's if you have Amazon Prime, I'm pretty sure it's on Prime TV, I think, or whatever it's called, Prime Video, Prime whatever. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Big Little Lies, which if anyone, I know you've obviously read Big Little Lies, but I've been saying Big Little Lies is my favorite book for the last couple of years, but I haven't reread it. So I think I'm going to reread it in March and make it the book club pick so that I can like gush about it with everyone. So you don't have to reread it because you've already read it. But if anyone hasn't read Big Little Lies, I think in March, because I somehow always get into a reading slump in March and end up reading nothing. So if I make like my favorite book the book, because I want to like talk about my favorite book with people and like force other people to read it. So it does, yeah, the suburban mum, it definitely is. But Big Little Lies is set in Australia, which maybe that's why I did like Big Little Lies more, probably because I can relate to it more than this topic. But yeah, easy TV. Yeah, I don't even turn on my TV. The only time I turn on is to watch Bluey. I don't, yeah, I read or, yeah, I try and watch YouTube a little bit, but even that is less than normal. I just read, like, similar, yeah, my annotation, like if anyone picked up a book that I had annotated, they'd be like, okay, well, if you liked this, it's like similar, like suburban mum vibe, similar but different, because Big Little Lies is more like a mystery, whereas this is like literary fiction. Hopefully you like it. I actually have seen I have seen the TV show for Big Little Lies, actually, because it was my favorite book, so I had to watch the TV show. Yeah, I enjoyed, but I also liked the book, so I don't know. But I think if anyone is watching now or in the replay or whatever, if you have seen the Big Little Lies TV show but you haven't read the book, you can still read the book. I don't think it's ruined because they are a little different, if I'm remembering correctly. Bluey's the best. Bluey is the best. All right. So let us get into, if I've got it, the presentation for Little Flies Everywhere by Celestine. Funnily enough, the pictures that I chose for this, like I don't even have that, like it's not even the one I have. But yes, I put both covers because everyone, like we've both got different, like I've got US and Australian people here. So whichever one you read. Yes, it is totally different. Okay. I'm glad I'm remembering correctly. I would, if you have a choice, read the book first. But I know some people have seen the show and then they weren't sure if they could read the book. I would say that you can. Okay. So, hang on. Where am I? Here. All right. We're not in spoiler territory yet for anyone watching the replay. Here is the synopsis if you did want to pause and read. I'm not going to read out the whole thing now because you can pause and read it because you're probably watching the replay, because I think everyone that's here has read it. But yes, it is a literary fiction novel. We are following a single mom who moves to a new town, and there's an adoption controversy where she and another family are on opposing sides of. Oh my God, I love that. I'm glad that I chose it for the book club and can influence everyone to start reading it. Not that I'm responsible for people reading it, because there's literally 1 million ratings on Goodreads. Like, I think I'm like the last person to get around to this. But yes, I am glad I picked it. So I will be honest, I'm sorry. I did not realize this was also set in the 90s until I started it. So I'm sorry that I had 2 90s books in a row. Apologies for that. But once I started it, I was like, I didn't realize at first. I'm not sure what the scene was. There was some scene happening, and I remember thinking to myself, why are they not just like calling each other to solve this problem? And then I realized that's why they're not calling each other, is because they don't have phones. This is set in the 90s. So I can, though, reuse my 90s mood board from the last video, because we are also following suburban mums in the 90s. So apologies that I did 2 90s books in a row. I did not realize that. I don't think, does it say in the synopsis? And I just missed it? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I definitely didn't realize. So I apologize. But yes, here is my mood board. We're in the 90s. We're following rich suburban mums. And this is my reusing my mood board. All right. Cast. This time I didn't have to make my own silly cast, because there is an adaptation already. So we can go by who got cast in the actual TV series. So we have, obviously, Mia is our single mum that moves to the new town. What is it called? Shaker Heights. She moves to Shaker Heights with her daughter Pearl. And then separately, in another family, we have, also I left the husbands out of this, they don't need to be in it. We have Elena. Wait, how do you say that? Now I'm second guessing myself. Mrs. Richardson. We have Mrs. Richardson. And she is married and she has 4 children. She owns the house that Mia moves into. And then separately, not attached to either of these women, is Bibi. And I didn't put the baby, but Bibi is the biological mum of the baby. Oh, by the way, we're about to enter spoiler territory here, so maybe beware if you're watching the replay and you haven't read the book. First point is that the TV show, I haven't watched it, but they did change the the casting. For the casting, they made Mia black, and obviously Pearl as well. So what do we think about that change? I know we said we haven't seen the show, but in the book she is not, as far as I'm aware. She did, I think Pearl was once described as having curly brown hair or something, but she wasn't described as being black. So that's interesting, an interesting change, because it kind of does change the dynamic. Again, I haven't watched it, so I don't know exactly how that went for TV, but it does kind of change the dynamic, having someone who is a woman of color on the opposite side instead of just, the single mum who is trying to help out Bibi. I'm not sure, because I haven't seen it. That is an interesting point to think about, I guess. But that's our cast. We're heading into spoilers, so warning for anyone who happens to be watching that does not want to be spoiled. But we're heading into spoilers, and we can discuss. I'll give you the recap to refresh everyone's memory. So here we have my recap of the book. So starting at the top, we start with the first scene is with the house actually being on fire, which, how do we feel about books that start with the ending at the beginning and then we loop back around during the book? Because Big Little Lies does this as well, and I like it. I actually really like this. I like knowing where we're going to end up, and then the rest of the book is just the journey. I might need to close this door because I can hear Kian. Ow. Okay. Yeah, so we start with the house on fire, and obviously the rest of the book, we jump 11 months back and then we lead back up to the fire for the end of the book. So I really like that. So that's our beginning of the story. We have the house on fire. And then the beginning of the actual book. So we have Mia and Pearl move into Mrs. Richardson's rental property. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Another interesting thing with the characters is Mia is always referred to as Mia, but Mrs. Richardson is always referred to not always, mostly referred to as Mrs. Richardson, which is an interesting choice to like, I feel like it's kind of makes Elena, what, I don't know how to pronounce that. She seems like more like, I don't know, I think it makes her seem like older or like more official or more like, I don't know, calling one woman by her first name and the other woman by like Mrs. and her surname, which was interesting. I feel like it made the dynamic between them different. But they move into Mrs. Richardson's rental property. She, being Mia, gets a job at the Chinese restaurant, and Pearl becomes friends with the Richardsons. So now the two families are becoming intertwined. So next up, Mrs. Richardson offers Mia a job cleaning their kitchen, which that scene was so random, but it was awkward. So Mia now cleans the kitchen at the Richardson house. So everyone's kind of always at each other's house. So then Mia finds out Izzy had been suspended from school after a teacher picked on a black student, and then she like stuck up for her and she got suspended. Mia asks her what she's going to do about it. Izzy then pranks the school with the locks on the door. And Izzy takes a liking to Mia, and she asks if she can be her assistant for her art. Next up, on a school trip to the museum, Pearl and one of the Richardson kids, one of the boys, I forget which one already, she sees a photo of her mother in the museum holding a baby. She asks her mum, Mia denies it, and then Mrs. Richardson finds out about this, and then this comes in later when she tries to investigate it. Then the Richardsons attend a birthday party for the McCullers' adopted Chinese baby. Lexi, one of the children, tells Mia about it, and then she speaks to Bibi, the bio mother. So when she was told about it, she recalls Bibi talking about this. So she talks to Bibi. She's the woman who left the baby at the fire station, and Bibi goes to the police and the media about it. And Mr. Richardson is the lawyer for the McCullers, the family who is adopting the Chinese baby. So already they're on opposite sides because Mia is trying to help Bibi and Mr. Richardson is the lawyer for the opposite family. I don't know if this is too confusing, but I'm going to continue anyway. Sorry. Then Mrs. Richardson investigates Mia's past, and Lexi gets... I'm just realizing I have a typo here, but Lexi gets an abortion and uses Pearl's name at the clinic. Next up, the judge rules in the McCullers' favour. Mrs. Richardson tells Mia that they have to move out, so they pack up, and I can already see more typos, but anyway, they pack up and leave town. Izzy sets fire to their house and they have to go stay in the rental, and they find the photos that Mia has left behind. And then the ending of the story is Bibi sneaks in, takes the baby to China. Izzy runs away in search of Mia and Pearl, and that's the end of the book. So there is the recap for everyone. Hopefully that was helpful. I don't know if that was way too confusing or not. I feel like it wasn't as easy as a recap as I did last time. I don't know, because last time there was like dates and stuff. I didn't write down the dates. So anyway, that is everything that happened in the book Little Fires Everywhere. So on to the discussion. Now, I don't really have that many slides coming up for the rest of the live, because the discussion points are kind of like just the book in general. But my first point is postpartum and mental health, 90s versus now. Obviously, we're set in the 90s, and I feel like maybe the thoughts by society and women on women's mental health. Oh, I'm behind on the comments, sorry. Is kind of like changes the course of the whole story. I like the house. Okay, I like that one too. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I like the one we have. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you liked it, because I was like worried I was going to pick a book. Yeah, the 90s vibe is amazing. Sorry, I'm catching up on the comments. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Okay, so it wasn't in the synopsis. Eleanor. Yeah, okay, Eleanor. The author wanted to write it as black, but didn't because it's not her place. Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. I did not know that. She definitely was written as having curly brown hair. but I don't think her skin color is mentioned. But I do feel like it makes sense if she was black or anything other than white. I think it is, I guess it kind of makes sense. I'm guessing we're still talking about the race. Be up to reinterpretation. Yeah, that's true. Even in movies, but when they do it in short episodes of TV, I get so annoyed with it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The recap is great. Okay, thank you. But yes, I do like the style of the way this book is written. I like knowing where we're going to end up. But yes, the postpartum, the way it's treated, because I think both women, well, all three women really, Mrs. Richardson, it was talked about how she was struggling after, what was the youngest one's name? Izzy was born, and she was like really like stressed about her doing anything. So that was mentioned. Obviously in the 90s, it was just kind of like, okay. But the main thing is obviously Bibi. Bibi? That's how you say it, isn't it? Now I'm like second guessing myself saying things out loud. When you I did listen to the audiobook as well, but I feel like when you read it and you read it in your head, then when I actually have to say the words out loud in my accent, I'm like, am I saying that right? But Bibi obviously was struggling a lot, which is how this whole thing came to be. And obviously the fact that she is not, like, English, I don't think was her first language. It probably didn't help. Because, yeah, that was, I guess, the whole reason why she left the baby at the fire station is I think she probably, one, was struggling postpartum, like giving birth. She was a single mum, but then she was probably also stressed given the fact that she didn't have a lot of resources to look after the baby. So, yeah, I think probably we have a better view about motherhood and postpartum, and hopefully we make it more normal for mothers to reach out and ask for help, because I think Bibi obviously did not want to give her child up, but she felt like it was her only choice because she probably didn't understand that she had options. I guess like she didn't know the resources that she could access, and then that's why she resorted to giving the baby up. Yeah, I just think probably in the 90s it was, yeah, maybe women were more told, like, oh, I mean, obviously I wasn't a mum in the 90s, but I'm assuming women were kind of just like, this is just it, you have to suck it up. The adoption case. Opinion on the judge's decision. The judge obviously decided that the baby was to stay with the McCullers. McCullough? Am I saying any words right today? I don't know. Nothing sounds right coming out of my mouth. What do we think about the judge's decision on that? I experienced some postpartum depression, but it didn't even occur to me that Bibi might have been going through that too. That's such a good point. If it was mentioned in the book, no, I don't think it was explicitly mentioned. No, I just assumed like probably that is probably what added to it. Like she has this baby that she can't feed, she can't like keep up with the bills and things that she has to pay for, and she doesn't. I assume like she probably didn't know that there were resources for women. Just in general, I think, like, even now, there were resources that I didn't know I could access for certain times in my life. Until, like, I researched it and, like, called people and then found out there were things, like, there were different groups and things, like, that can help you. I just think the fact that English maybe wasn't her first language as well. She probably was just stressed because she didn't probably know the things that she could access. And then also I don't think it actually said it, but I assume she was probably struggling postpartum as well. When you don't know your options, you don't actually have options. True. Very true. So yeah, I think it was like she just didn't know what to do, and that's what led to the thing. With the judges, okay, sorry, my brain is going back and forth because that comment just reminded me. My opinion, my thought when I was reading this, and you can tell me what you thought, I assumed based on everything that we were finding out, is that Bibi didn't really want to give up the child for adoption. And that she gave up the child just because she thought she had no other options. So I just feel like maybe that wasn't really factored in, like, publicly, because obviously everyone was in the town giving all their opinions on what they thought. And I think, I don't know if it's because it was the 90s. Like, I don't actually know how adoption exactly works. But I would assume that if this happened now, that wouldn't happen and the baby wouldn't go, like, straight into an adoption. Like, I don't think it's either not, it wasn't supposed to happen in the book and it was shifty, or it did work like that and that was just the 90s. Do you know what I mean? Because, and I didn't add 1-star reviews into this slide like I did last time, because I was reading through them and it was making me really mad, because people were saying, like, I saw a lot of comments saying, like, all the characters were unlikable, which fair enough, you don't have to like characters, but people were saying Mia was this super villain, and that people were commenting and saying, if Mia never intervened and told Bibi, like, that she knew where the baby was, none of this would have happened and everyone could have just went on with their lives. I'm like that is insane to me. Like, people literally thought Mia was this super villain, and that their ideal story would be that McCullers could keep the baby, Bibi moves on with her life, everyone just minds their own business. And I'm glad that person is not my friend, because if you have a friend and you obviously find out some information, of course you're going to try and help them. And I just think that, I don't know, a lot of people were commenting saying, and let me know what your opinion is, but a lot of people were commenting saying, like, it shouldn't be the biological mother shouldn't be the priority all the time. And a lot of people were commenting saying, like, oh, I'm an adoptive mother, and it made me really sad to see that they were prioritizing Bibi because she was biologically the child's mother. And they were saying, like, I'm the mum too, like the adoptive mum. But I don't think what people understand, like, in the book, it was meant to be, like, Bibi didn't want to give up her child. I think she just thought that was her only option. And of course, like, a lot of times it is prioritized, like, the biological mother that is the ideal situation, is for a child to be with their parents that birthed them, unless that is unsafe. And she was back on her feet, she had a job, like, she wasn't unsafe. I don't think, my take on the book is that the town was shifty, because when she went to the police and when she went to the fire station, they were like, oh no one, that didn't have, like, we don't have any record of anyone leaving a baby, which obviously was a lie. I think it was a close-knit town. They knew the McCullers were having trouble, like, they wanted to adopt. This baby got left, they gave it to them, and then when Bibi came looking for the baby, they were like, oh, that never happened, because they're friends with the McCullers. Do you know what I mean? And, like, I don't think that's, I think, like, when kids are taken away, I don't know, I'm trying to, like, explain this without when kids are taken away from their biological families, I thought they were meant to be put into foster care, like a temporary home, and give the biological family a chance to get themselves sorted. And then if they give up their rights, then they can be put in a permanent placement. That's what I thought is supposed to happen. That's what I thought would be what happened in the book. And I thought the point was that the town was shifty because they were saying Bibi, like, oh no, that didn't happen, because they were all friends with the McCullers, or they knew them. Not saying, like, because it would be a very hard position to be in as the McCullers, like, having a child and thinking you get to keep that child and then having to give it back. That would be gut-wrenching and awful. And I feel like that's part of the thing with this story, is you feel for both sides, because before I had Kian, I was looking into what adoption would look like. Not looking, like, I wasn't actually researching, but I was, like, envisioning what would my life look like if I adopted, because I was in a similar position to the McCullers. I had gotten pregnant and had miscarriages. So I was thinking, like, okay, if I can never have a biological child, like, what would I be happy with my life if I adopt instead? Obviously I didn't have to go through that for years and years, which it would be heart-wrenching, like, wanting something like that so bad and not being able to do it for them. But yeah, I think that it was a mistake putting the baby with them for permanent placement. I think that it should have been a foster carer. And then if the mother gives up her rights and says, no, I do not want to be a mother, I do not want anything to do with the child, then it should be is that like unreasonable? That's what I thought it should be. The whole situation was so tough. It was. I don't think either party handled it perfectly. No. I think it was awful all around. Because yeah, I felt for both. Obviously, it would be hard for both because like the joy they would feel like struggling for so long, and then they finally are like, okay, we have a baby now. And then to have it be like, oh no, you have to give it back. It would be hard. But also having your biological baby just down the road and knowing that people don't want to give them back to you, it would be awful. And this is a side tangent. But I've seen like this video on TikTok come up before, and it's this woman. I don't remember her name because it just came up one time when I was scrolling. And she had said that she was pregnant, had fallen pregnant accidentally, and she decided she was going to give the baby up. So she organized for like parents that were going to adopt, and then she gave birth. And after she gave birth, she like obviously the baby came out and she held the baby, and she realized that she couldn't give the baby up, and so she ended up keeping the baby. People were tearing her to shreds in the comments. Like people were commenting saying how wrong she, like, you shouldn't have done that. That's horrible that you did it to that family. Like you told them they were going to have a baby and then you changed your mind. Like you should have just given the baby to them. Like obviously that is a horrible situation for both sides. Like imagine being told like, oh, there's this pregnant lady, and then she changes her mind. But also like it's her biological baby, and you can't like buy a human. Like if she decides she doesn't want to give her own child away, like, oh God. But people were like absolutely roast. And that's kind of like what was happening in the 1-star reviews. Like people were really roasting like Mia and Bibi for being on, like they just did not agree with that. And people also saying like, oh, didn't realize you had to be Chinese to raise a Chinese baby, which that is completely missing the point, because obviously you don't have to be Chinese to raise a Chinese baby. The point of bringing that up was the fact that the McCullers hadn't put any thought into it. And of course, like those comments, like it's clearly a white person, because like, come on, like we know, like it would be tricky being a kid growing up with white parents when you're not white and they don't understand. Like it is a different upbringing. It wasn't a great situation. I don't ever want to make this decision. No, me either. I actually have, this is live. Do I want to say this? I don't know. I have family members who are having some infertility struggles, and I had this conversation with my mum because I said to her, do you think they're going to ask me to be a surrogate? Because I thought to myself, like, I need to think about this in my head, like, so I have my answer ready. I don't think they want a surrogate though. I think if they want something, it will be an egg donor. So I've been thinking about my decision that if I get asked to donate eggs, because I don't think I could be a surrogate, like carrying the baby and then giving birth to it and then having to give it up would be really, really hard. Especially it would be my biological baby as well. It wouldn't, like, it's my eggs that they would need. I don't know if I could do that. But then also being asked, that's such a big thing, like to say no to something they want really, really bad that you can easily give them. I would donate eggs, I think, if they ask. I don't know. We'll find out soon if I do get asked that question. I didn't think about this. That is a great point. It would be nice to have some more chapters from Bibi's perspective, what was going through her head when she gave birth the baby. I agree, actually. I hadn't really thought of that, but it would have been nice, actually. When a baby is... I don't really need to be in this. Hang on. I need to switch back to this. I don't think I need to be in the slideshow mode. When a baby is permanently taken away from its mother, especially in a case of a transracial adoption, that is a serious move. Correct, yeah. I think there needs to be some steps before baby is put in a permanent... And the thing is, it's hard because, like, I've seen situations where the biological parent is definitely, like, given way too many chances. And I think it needs to be what's best for the child, because the big debate was that on the one hand, Bibi wants her baby back. Like, she made a huge mistake by giving the baby up. I think it should have been put in foster care so she had the chance to get it back. But anyway, but the argument for the McCullers was like, oh, well, they have enough money to give this baby everything the baby could ever want or need. Which, like, that's not everything. Like, yes, obviously you don't want the baby to be homeless with, like, no food, no nappies, diapers, whatever. But, like, that was, like, the main argument for the McCullers is, like, oh, they have money. And that's it. Like, and whereas Bibi is, like, she wants this child. She's the biological mother. You know, this baby is Chinese and these other people are not Chinese. You know, this mother can involve the baby in learning about its culture. Oh, God. It is, like, that's why, oh, my God, it would be such a hard situation. God, I'm sounding reasonable. I feel like I'm just, like, spewing out my thoughts and I don't know if they're coming across, like, because I'm trying not to be, like, offensive to either side. Like, obviously, I definitely felt for both as well. Like, obviously, it is a very tough decision to be in. Yeah. I had a friend that adopted a baby. She was terrified the mother was going to do that exact thing. That was also a transracial adoption. She did get to adopt her baby. Okay, well, I'm glad it all worked out for her. But yeah, it would be... Because especially when, like, if you found out, like, you can't have children, oh, the little slither of hope, like, of being like, oh my gosh, like, I'm getting a child, but then having it, like, being able to be ripped away. Like, oh God, it's so stressful. Oh my God, I'm stressed thinking about it. Oh my God. It really is so tough. Yeah. I don't know. Because, yeah, I was reading this book and it was just, like, frustrating on both sides. But to answer my own question, I think when it comes to the judge's decision, first of all, I don't think the arguments on both sides were really that great. But I think that they made a mistake placing the baby straight away. I don't know how it works, so I can't really say for sure, but I think it was a mistake giving it to a family and saying, like, yeah, you get to keep this baby forever. I don't think that should have happened. Because, like, obviously, did they even search for baby? Like, did they find who left this baby? Like, did they just see the baby and be like, whoop, we've got a family? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard because, yeah, obviously Bibi was loving, caring. She just was financially really struggling and I assume had some, like, postpartum depression issues. And yeah, she wasn't financially stable, but she got back on her feet. I feel like that's why there needs to be the middle step. I feel like the baby needed to be in foster care and just have, you know, some time for Bibi to get on her feet. That's why foster carers are there. Like, they are temporary homes where the baby can be safe and, you know, looked after. Like, I just think she didn't know her options. And it makes me so sad because I think, like, she should have, like, she wanted that baby. Like, it's her baby. She deserved to keep her own baby. Oh, God. And just being, like, sitting there knowing the baby's just up the street with another family. Like, oh, my God. Oh, that's so stressful. I'm stressed thinking about it. Yeah. I think that is what the legal battle, it was kind of like, okay, who's this baby going to be placed with? But I think, like, also it needs to be like, someone messed up here. Like, that wasn't right. And I don't know if it's like a 90s thing. Like, I should have looked into that. I don't know if it's a 90s thing. Like, they didn't have that in place until later. I'm sure they would have, though. Like, I just think now that's not how it would have worked. In my opinion, the firefighters were like, oh, I know someone wants a kid. Exactly. I think Bibi should have been able to keep the baby. I mean, she did in the end, but, oh gosh. But on that, my next point, which I don't really need to switch back to the presentation, was about motherhood. Obviously, we've talked about the adoption. I'm rambling on and I've been going for how long? 40 minutes of me rambling. I'm sorry. Because the mothers were all quite different. Obviously, Mia was a single mum and she was kind of more, I don't know, I guess, less strict than Mrs. Richardson. What do we think about, like, the whole motherhood thing? Like, because Pearl ended up kind of, like, gravitating towards the Richardsons, whereas Izzy wanted to be more with Mia. What do we think about the mothering choices in this? Obviously, both the mothers had a lot of secrets and weren't telling their children everything. It seems like it would have been in place in the 90s, but I also don't know. I agree it would be different now, hopefully. I hope so. Mia's situation. Oh, yes. Do we want to talk about Mia's backstory? I was shocked at Mia's backstory. What a wild ride that was. Yeah. And there was some foreshadowing because earlier in the book, Pearl had asked Mia, like, if I was an accident. Obviously, she hasn't ever met her dad and she knows she's got a single mom. And Mia responded and said, like, oh, trust me, you were very wanted. Which is like foreshadowing because, like, she was very wanted, just not by Mia. Like, she was wanted by this other family. Grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah, I feel like as kids, definitely. Like, my best friend lived like a few doors down, and she was one of 4 siblings, and I was like an only child until I was 8. And so whenever we were like organizing a play date, she was like, oh, let's go to your house because, like, it's nice and quiet and there's no brothers and sisters to annoy us. Whereas I was like, no, let's go to your house because it's so much fun. Like, there's so many people to play with. So it's just funny. I feel like that similar sort of thing is happening here where, like, Pearl is used to just moving around being just with her mum, and like she has this whole family where they're a traditional family with a mum and a dad that sit down and have dinner and they have stable jobs, whereas Mia was more artsy and just I think it is a kind of a grass is always greener on the other side thing. I don't think either mum is like the right way to be a mum. I think everyone chooses their own right way. But yeah, I definitely think it was interesting that they each had a child that was like gravitating towards the other mother. One more than the other, because Izzy was like, she was ready to give up her family. She's like, I'm out of here. I'm going with you. Just chase after him at the end. But yes, how wild is Mia's backstory? Like, she like needed money, and this also, how random to be on was it a train or a bus? I think it was a train. Be on a train and have a man just approach you and be like, oh, you look a lot like my wife and we can't have a child. So like, can you be the mother? Because like, you look just like my wife and we want our kid to look still biologically ours. Like, how random is that? Imagine being on a train and being approached for that. That is so weird. But also not a great situation that I would not have wanted to be in Mia's situation either. Oh God. But I have been thinking about that a lot lately, like I said, for my situation. I think I would, like, even donating an egg, it would be weird because then like there's a child walking around that's mine, that's not mine. But being people who are surrogates, like, is obviously doing an amazing thing for a family. That would be so hard. Like, going through the birth is like such a like special experience of like going through the birth and then having like, you've just carried this baby and then you've birthed it and like having it just pass it over, whether it's biologically yours. I feel like it'd be easier if it like was their egg and sperm that got inserted, because then it's not yours, like you just grew it sort of thing. But if it was actually yours, like it was for Mia, like, oh my God. Do we think that Pearl will ever go and meet, obviously the story ended there, but do you think she would meet the dad, the biological dad? Like, oh my God. And imagine finding out like 18 years later, or she was like 16, I don't know, like that she actually was born. Oh my God, that's wild. That man approaching me was big. Yeah, I was getting creeped out in that scene. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And then when I found out what it was, I'm like, that is so wild. Like, what a random thing to approach someone with. Like, imagine just like being on the train, like minding your own business, and then you see someone like, oh, that looks like my wife, and then just like approaching them and saying like, oh, can you call me because like we really want you to have our baby. Like, what a random thing to be doing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in Mia's situation in that either. I wouldn't have said yes to that. Like, I don't think no matter how much money someone offered me, I don't think I would have said yes. I know, like, she was desperate for money at that time. But yeah, I don't think I would have said yes to that because that's, I don't know, that would be too hard for me. A stranger, like just giving birth to a stranger's baby and then being like, oh, bye. I don't know. But also, I guess it was the 90s, but would they not have, like, I know she left and went somewhere else to have the baby, but would they not have found out? Like, how does that work? I know you can just like leave it blank on the birth certificate and say like no father. Oh, yeah, I guess it would be possible. I don't know. I still don't understand how Bibi left with the baby. I'm going to be honest. I don't really understand how that happened. Like, she just took the baby and like got on a plane. How did she do that? I thought babies needed passports. And I know we're in the 90s, but passports were invented in the 90s. Like, how did she flee the country? I don't really get that one. I would be interested as well. I know when I looked up the cast online, there is like someone listed as young Mia. So her background scenes are in there and they have a different actor doing those sections. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, her backstory was wild. And also like the fact that there was a photo of her in the museum and it was called like the Virgin Mother or something about that. Like, because like she obviously got pregnant with the like squirting at the turkey baster or whatever it was. And like no one ever found out. That is so random. The baby I thought the baby would need a passport, but I don't know. Unless like she had someone helping her. Like someone just, because she did go to the media with it, the story. So unless there was someone that was like, hey, I can get you to China with this baby if you can get the baby. Like someone maybe, like she maybe had contacts. That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm like, how the heck did she get out of the country with the baby? I assumed someone was like assisting, because I think babies need passports. Maybe someone like gave her a fake passport, because the baby was only 1 and like babies kind of like, you can kind of just use a different photo, I guess. Can you fake a passport? I don't know. I don't even own a passport. I don't know. I think that's what they used, wasn't it? They didn't go to like a doctor's thing. Like they just did it at home, didn't they? I think that's what they used. Oh my God. Also, what an awkward, like random situation too. Like me waiting in the room and then the wife like comes in and you have to like, oh yeah, that's just awkward all around. I think in the US, was it? I don't know. Good question. Because yeah, if she had the baby in China, I just assumed she had it in the US, actually. I don't remember if they said. But yeah, if she did have it if she had it in China, then that solves that issue. But yeah, it was just so random. I did see in the 1-star reviews, people were complaining about that as well. Well, 1, the unrealistic thing of her leaving the country. But 2, they were complaining and saying they were really upset that it was written in that when she reached into the cot, the crib for the baby didn't cry because she knew it was the biological mother. And they were saying like it was offensive to adoptive mothers. I can't really give my opinion on that because I'm not an adoptive mother, but what I will say is like, of course the baby's not going to cry because she's met her as well. Like they were doing visitations, weren't they? So she's not going to be like, oh, this is a stranger. Like, of course she's not going to cry. But also, I don't know, I feel like babies have instincts. Like she probably would know it was her biological mother anyway. I don't know. People were saying that was offensive, but I can't say whether it was or wasn't because I don't know. Oh God, it really is just a bad situation to be in. Like, oh God. Yeah. But my thoughts on this is basically just the baby should have been put into like a middle step. There should have been foster care where they were able to put the baby there and work out something. I think that because it was a close-knit town, it was like they saw this baby and they were like, okay, quick, let's act on this because we know a family. Otherwise, surely this wouldn't have happened. And I feel like that in the court case, like that wasn't brought up. Like, I feel like BB's lawyer should have brought that up, and then we would have known that BB was being like set up here. I mean, obviously no one forced her to put the baby at the fire station, but like she was being set up to not have the baby back. Like, I don't know. It just seemed odd. I don't know the adoption process well enough to be able to comment, but that's my opinion. I think the whole thing wouldn't have happened if they would have had the baby go into foster care, a temporary home where someone could keep the baby safe. Baby could get back on her feet. She could get a job. She could get her head straight and be able to have the baby back. And I feel like that's usually what happens in real life from what I know, but I can't be certain. I do think, a lot of people were complaining that the preference is given to the biological mother, even when it's shouldn't. Which sometimes in real life, that is true. But like, it's not like baby was on drugs or anything. Like, she wasn't an unsafe, unfit mother. She just couldn't afford the baby. So that's my take on the book, pretty much. I think that's all I have to say because I've been like yabbering on for ages. But that's basically my take. Let me know if you have any other thoughts. But I think that was all the points that I needed to make for this one, I think. But yes, I did give it 5 stars. I think it's going to be one of my favorite. I'm just going to keep thinking about it. That's the thing. Like, I know I'm going to just keep thinking about this book. And that's when I'm trying to like think of what my favorites are. I always think about like, am I going to keep thinking about this book for a while, forever? And I think the answer is yes for this one. So I think, I don't know, maybe one of my favorites of the year. I had a feeling I was going to like it just based on like what the premise was and also like other people's reviews that I know my taste kind of semi-aligns with. So I'm glad I was correct and I got a 5-star. I'm glad I picked it. I don't know, I haven't confirmed, but I think for anyone who is still here that wants to plan out their reading for next year, I think that I probably might do, what the heck is that book called? Lessons in Chemistry. I know that's another historical fiction. I think I might do Lessons in Chemistry in January. I'm not certain. And also it is a book that's been adapted, and so is this one. I don't know. I was trying to think of books that, 1, I already own and am interested in, and 2, books that are easy for other people to access. And like really popular books are usually easier to get because the libraries probably have them. Like it's been adapted, so it's everywhere. So that's why I was kind of thinking that one. Also, I know it's like at Kmart and stuff for Australian people. So I don't know. I think I'm going to do that for January. February, I'm still going back and forth on. And then I think March, I will do Big Little Lies, a reread for me. And if anyone wants to have it as their first read, or you don't have to reread it if you've already read it, obviously. Because I just want to chat to people about that. And I feel like I'm going to have a lot of thoughts the second time around. I'm a little nervous. But I think that's going to be for March. And then I kind of have plans for April, May, and not really June, but I don't know. I will try and lock it in for the end of the month so I can like officially say. But that's what I'm thinking for January and March. So let me know if you've read those ones. Being poor shouldn't be a crime. Exactly. I think she didn't know her options and she thought that it was what was best for the baby. Like she just made like a snap decision. Yeah, I think she needed help and she wasn't given it, unfortunately. Which is sad. I love planning early, so this is helpful. Okay. Yeah, I think one of the books that I was thinking for February, I think I might have messaged you this one, but I was thinking gosh, what is that book called? Lunar Love, I think it was called. I thought it might have made the Goodreads awards for this year for romance, so I didn't like confirm it. It didn't. But I think I can't remember the exact plot, but I'm pretty sure in February, is that when Lunar New Year is? Right? I don't know. So that's why I thought February it kind of went, because February is also like Valentine's and that's a romance book, and it's Chinese New Year. And the book is Lunar Love. I think it's got something to do with that in the synopsis. I don't know. I kind of half have that as an idea. I don't know exactly what it's about, so I need to look back into that one. But I also don't own it, so I haven't had that as a confirmed. Haven't read any of these. Okay. Well, yeah, Lessons in Chemistry is another historical book. I think it's set in like the 50s, so at least it's not the 90s. But yeah, I was trying to think of things that were like going to be easier for people to access. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. And then I'm still deciding on June. I don't know. Because I was thinking like I hadn't got like a horror or a thriller for the first 6 months. So I was thinking like something maybe like My Sister the Serial Killer is like a really short one that I've been meaning to read for ages. I also don't own it. Or the book Her Body and Other Parties is like short stories, which I was like, well, that could be interesting because then we could discuss like each short story. It's not like one big novel. So I don't know. Still thinking about June. Okay. So do I, but I don't own it. So I don't know. It is a TV show. Also haven't watched it. But I don't know, books that get adapted, it just makes the book so much easier to get your hands on. So that's kind of why I was gravitating towards those, because I know Lessons in Chemistry is like pretty cheap in Australia. And I thought like libraries would probably have it as well. So I was trying to like, I didn't want to pick something that's too like niche where it's going to be difficult for people to join. I was trying to make it as easy as possible. Also, I have it on my shelf. But yeah, I think it's like women in STEM, feminism. I don't know. I think she's like a scientist. I think she goes in like, am I thinking of the right book? Does she go on a baking TV show, or is that a different book? I maybe should just shut up because I think I'm just talking out my ass now. Happy to read anyone's mentioned. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what I pick. I saw you posted your first 3 for the year. I'm not going to read the Sarah J Maas, so I'll just come and hang out for that live show. I also haven't read the first book for the January one. That's the sequel, isn't it? I can probably read the first book and then also read the second book though. Also, when is your live show for your book club? Tomorrow? Let me know if I should finish the book because I think I'm not going to finish it. Delicious Monsters. Sorry. I started it. I think I'm like 20% through. Young adult is hard for me. And I already read one young adult this month or last month, I should say. There's just a lot of talk in the first 20% about like teenage relationships and like this teenager in a relationship with an adult. I don't know. Let me know if you think I should finish it, because I think I'm 20% of the way through. I could probably finish it before the live show tomorrow if I read it today. But I don't know. I was going to DNF it. If I DNF it, I'll still come to the live though. But if you think it's good, then I'll read it. But just like, there's just a lot of teenage talk at the beginning. I don't know. Let me know what you're currently reading, everyone, as well, before we leave. What time is it? Oh, it's been an hour. I don't really want to read this. Yeah, no hate to the Sarah J Maas girlies, but I'm not a Sarah J Maas girly. I still need to finish, they're still sitting right there. I still need to finish the rest of the Cassandra Clare books. I think the last 2 series to go, so like 3 and 3. But I took a break because I was just reading them all too fast. I think I need to be careful picking up fantasy because like it's not my genre. Live shows 24. Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was tomorrow. Yeah. I will be there, I think. You gave Delicious Monsters 2 stars. Totally spoiled the day now. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I did try. I promise. I made, I think, 20%. I think I'm like 100 pages in. I don't really know. It's just the teenagers stuff. There was a lot of talk about relationships. And I read one book that kind of had a lot of that already. But I saw it got compared to the book Sadie. Is that who wrote? Courtney Summers? I think I saw it. And that's like one of my favorite books. But it's just not really giving those vibes so far. So I might DNF. Yeah. I forgot to show. I got the fire theme for the fire book. I was going to do my makeup fire flames on my eyes, but then I decided that was way too much effort. And yes, but I love a book club theme. And if the January book is going to end up being lessons in chemistry, I can think of some good theme ideas for that for the live show for January. So stay tuned if that is going to be the book. I have some theme ideas for that. Currently reading Salt Houses. I'm not sure if I know what Salt Houses is, but given the fact that you put the watermelon emoji, I'm guessing it is a Palestinian book. Is it a non-fiction? I was going to get some non-fictions because I saw that a bunch of publishers were doing ebooks for free. So I'm going to see if I can get them because like the last month people keep posting like, oh, you can get the ebook for this book is free on Amazon. And then when I went to get it, I don't know if it was just me in Australia, like it wasn't free. And I'm not really buying books, so I haven't read any. But yeah, I think I'm going to have a look because I know I saw people linking a couple of websites for the ebooks, which obviously we want to support the authors, but I'm not really buying books. Got a lot of expenses that I can't add in things for myself at the moment. But yes, let me know if you're liking it. Is it a non-fiction or is it fiction? I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I do want to read at least one non-fiction if I can fit it in. It's always good to learn. So it has some similarities to Sadie, but I liked Sadie way more. Yeah, I might reread that. I might reread that at some point because when I first read it, I think I read it in like 2019. Was that when it was published? I don't know. But I read the audiobook. This was when I was working full time. And I had it playing while I was driving to and from work because I had like an hour, 40-minute commute maybe. Can't remember how long it was. But I own the physical copy. It's somewhere there. It's right there. I can see it. It's the white one. I might reread that at some point because I loved it when I first read it. But it's like the only young adult mystery book I've ever... I literally have given every young adult mystery that I can think of besides that one star. Or 2 stars if they're lucky. I've given up on that genre altogether. I'm basically giving up on most mystery thrillers, I think. I think I kind of know my taste. If it's a cozy mystery, I will read it. But I feel like most thrillers, they need to be silly, I think. Thank you. I honestly can't wait to take them off because I just do like press-ons because one, I don't have the time to sit in a nail salon as a single mum. I also don't have the money to keep getting my nails done all the time. So I just do them myself and then stick them on. But I like literally am so excited to take them off. Because I just feel like I can't do anything. Like every time I try and type on my phone, I'm like, I can't press the right buttons. I can't type on my keyboard. Like I just can't do things. And I feel like when you're a mum of a toddler, like you just don't want nails where things can get under them. So I am excited to take them off actually. But thank you. Historical fiction. Oh, okay. Follows a family that continually is being displaced from Palestine. Okay, I'll look it up. I read a literary fiction, Evil Eye. It's a Palestinian American woman. It got nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards. I don't think it made it to the next round. Actually, is today the last day? I should vote. I don't think I've voted. Did everyone else vote? What do we think is going to win? That's the real question. Oh my God. Okay, maybe not. My internet's very slow. And Goodreads has just not been loading for me. Every day I get like the little thing that says like, oh, it took too long to load. Oh, I can do it on my phone. What am I doing? Silly. I really loved They Called Me a Lioness, which is a memoir of a young Palestinian activist. I don't know how to say that name, so I'm not going to butcher it. Has a lot of history and is still engaging. Okay, I like memoirs. I'll maybe have a look. I have Evil Eye on hold from the library. Yeah, I listened to the audiobook. It was on Scribd, which got changed to Everend, whatever. Scribd never works for me. It's always frozen. But yeah, I listened to the audiobook, so I enjoyed it. I hope you like it if you read it. It's very heavy-handed on the It's very heavy-handed on the message that husbands can be not very good. But I liked it. It was as a man hater. As a man hater, I enjoyed it. But yes, I felt really bad for the woman in it. I love a lit fic, so it was my vibe. I think, oh yeah, so do I. So do I. Let me see if the voting is still open. I think it ends today. It says it ends. See, that's the thing. It says it ends the 3rd. I thought it said it ended the 3rd, which is the 3rd for me, but it's not the 3rd in the US. But the nominees said it was going to get released on whatever day, and it got released like Australian time. So I don't know if it's going to end a day early. Oh, it closes in 1 day, 7 hours, 48 minutes. Plenty of time. Let me vote now. Wayward. Okay. I have that on my shelf, but I haven't read it. Amina El-Sarafi. I'm interested in that one. Yellowface. I hope Yellowface wins. I do like that one. Okay. Fiction. What's in the fiction? Okay. Evil Eye got booted out of fiction. Okay. And I've read Mame. I'm going to vote for Yellowface. That's the only one I've read. Okay. I voted. Historical fiction, I've read 0, so I'm not going to bother. It's letting me vote today. I'm not going. Yeah, I wasn't going to, but I'm just... It's just a popularity contest, really, isn't it? It's not like... I think there are so many other like literary awards that are, you know, tells you what books are actually good. Not that the books that are going to win this aren't good. I'm just saying, like, you don't have to have even, like, there's no qualifications of, like, having read that. Like, you can just vote for anything, even if you haven't read it, sort of thing. So, it's not very accurate, is it? But, yeah. I just think if I was going to look for something based on something that is, like, actually has literary merit, I would probably go to a different award. I know we have like 4 or 5 ones off the top of my head that I know of in Australia that we have. Like, I've got a bunch of Australian books I have. They always have the little circles that say like, oh, New South Wales Premier's Literary Award, Miles Franklin Literary Award. I would trust those more because I know that I enjoy the books that come out of that. So I don't really trust it. But I mean, the only one I've read in the mystery thriller also didn't make it, so I'm going to vote for nothing. I've read probably nothing in the romance that's... Oh no, maybe I have. Wait. The Abby Jimenez? I think probably Emily Henry will win in romance. Or Ali Hazelwood. Or the Lucy Score. Oh my god, I'm not really making a definitive guess, am I? Not that I have to. Okay, I'll vote for yours truly. I probably haven't read any others, so I won't vote for anything else. Yeah, I'm not taking it as the best advice on which books to pick up, because it is a popularity contest. And I think Fourth Wing is going to be... I am excited to see how many votes each book got, though. That's what I am excited for. Just because I like stats and I want to see, like, which book won and how far the next book is behind it. Not that popular books can't be good. Like, popular books can also be good, but sometimes they're not. Wayward is great for man haters. I don't even remember what it's about, but the Australian cover is nowhere near as good as the US one, so it makes me mad to look at. But yes, I think I will DNF Delicious Monsters then today, and I will finish reading... I'm reading a Christmas book. I'm going to finish reading A Carol for Carol. I have an arc for that. I really need to finish some more arcs and review them. But it is a sapphic Christmas romance. So I think I'll stick to fun, silly, goofy things for the rest of the month. Is my reading plans. But yes, thank you everyone for coming, because I have been here for an hour now, so I don't want to be here blabbering on all day long. But yes, I'm so glad that we all enjoyed, because most of our ratings were pretty good, so I'm glad about that. We all kind of had similar opinions, same as last month, so that's good. Christmas rom-coms. I can't wait to start getting into some Christmas rom-coms very soon, yes. I am the Grinch. I am not a Christmas girl. I mean, the background is you're probably thinking, no, yes you are. No, this year I am trying. I'm just trying my best to be in the Christmas spirit. So I'm going to read some Christmas books. I've decorated. I've got my tree up. I'm trying to be in the Christmas spirit, but oh my God, Christmas is just so stressful. I did some Christmas shopping online, and I've got like a bunch of packages that I think are coming on Monday or Tuesday. That's most of my Christmas shopping done. I don't know what to get my mum. Gift giving is so stressful. Is anyone else the same? Is gift giving stressful to anyone else? You refuse to read. I don't think I had I ever read a Christmas book before this year? I don't know. I just read Kiss Her Once for Me. Last month I read that one. I don't think I ever really read Christmas books, but this year I think I have 15 sapphic Christmas romances on my Kindle, all on Kindle Unlimited. I don't think I'm going to get through them all, but I have 15 sapphic ones, and then I have the one that Lacey has for her book club. That's not a sapphic one, but it is a Christmas romance. So I have 16 Christmas books. I don't think I'm going to read 16 Christmas books. Some of them are novellas, so they're short, but I don't think I'm going to read 16 Christmas books. I loved Not Just Gal Pals. I had an arc of that earlier this year. It was fun. It reminded me of Delilah Green, just because they were like at a wedding. Obviously it was sapphic. I really enjoyed that one. And I think that author is Australian, so I need to have a look at what else she has written, because I really enjoyed that. I'm glad you agree, because I find gift giving to be so... I don't know, some family members are really easy, because we always just give each other lists. Like, we just give... I know that kind of like takes out the surprise in the gifts, because we just ask each other, hey, what do you want? My brother is the easiest to buy for, because he always has very specific things that he has on his wish list. And he has his birthday a week before Christmas as well, so I had to buy him heaps of stuff. But, oh my God, gift giving is so stressful. The only reason I'm excited about Christmas now is that I'm a parent, because Christmas is miles more exciting when you are a parent compared to just like a single adult, like a non-parent adult. Obviously, Christmas I think is the most exciting when you are a child, because you have the Christmas magic. But then when I grew up, I was like, oh my God, Christmas sucks. And then now that I have a son, I do think that it's gotten more exciting, because then I get to see him be all excited. And we went for a walk the other day and we saw the Santa photos. We haven't done Santa photos before, but I showed him, I'm like, oh look, there's Santa. So we might get Santa photos done this year. We'll see. if he wants to. I've never did it before because I was like, if I'm going to hand over my like child to like this strange man, like, you know how people always have the photos of their kids crying, and I know people think it's so funny and hilarious, which I guess it is a little funny, but didn't want to do that to my child. Like, if he was going to cry, if I tried to do a Christmas photo giving him to Santa and he cried, I would have just said, don't worry, we're not going to do it. Because if he doesn't want to sit on a man's lap, I'm not going to make him sit on a man's lap. So we've never done Santa photos, but now that he's 3 and he actually can converse and knows what Santa is, we might do them this year. We'll see. But yeah, it's so much more exciting when you're a kid. At least they're sapphic, yes. All of them are, besides one. So we'll see how many I get through in the end. I'm pretty sure some are novellas, so hopefully they'll be faster, but I don't like my chances. I don't think I can even read 16 books in a month. So yeah, Christmas as a parent, I think it's a lot more fun. It's definitely more fun than just being an adult without a child. It's just exciting, like seeing kids excited. That's like one of the best things about being a parent, is like seeing a kid experience things and being excited about things. But yes, usually I'm the Grinch, but this year I'm trying my best. So, oh gosh. Oh, which reminds me, what is that noise? I think it's the plumbing. Oh my gosh, that really scared me. This month's there's no book. So I'm just going to do like a fun hangout live. Probably next week or the week after. What's the date today? The 3rd. So what next week will be either the 10th or the 17th. I don't know. I'll decide and not leave it to the last minute like this one. But yes, I'm just going to do a fun end of year hangout. It won't be sprints because I can't do sprints. I can't be here for hours on end. Yeah, we'll just do hangout, talk about what we're reading. I'm going to give you some Christmas facts. I know not everyone is in America, but I feel like whenever we're talking about Christmas, the topic always comes up about the fact that Australian Christmases are different. So I'm going to give you some Aussie Christmas facts. I have some Aussie Christmas songs that I can play. I probably get a copyright strike, so I'll have to edit it out post. But I've seen I saw a TikTok going around recently where someone was like, oh, so Christmas is in summer in Australia. So do you have different Christmas songs? Because like all the classic Christmas songs that talk about the snow mostly. And we do. So I think we're just going to have a fun chatting one. And I'm just looking at the time and I've been here for an hour and a half. So clearly I can chat. So yes, we'll just discuss books. We won't be sprinting. We'll just discuss what we're reading, talk about what our favorite books are so far this year, or whatever we want to discuss, bookish. And then I'll also give you some fun facts. I might still do this. I was also going to show you an Aussie Christmas book because obviously a lot of Christmas books are like snowy, set in winter, like very not Southern Hemisphere setting. But I have some Aussie ones, but also I don't know if I get in trouble for doing that, like out loud, like a children's book. I think I'm just going to do it and then I'll just edit it out after. Because yeah, I do have some. I was reading one at the library the other day when I was there with Kian. So I'll either borrow one from the library. I don't know if I have any. I do, but I don't know where they are. So yes, I can give you a Aussie Christmas story and we can discuss Aussie Christmas and then we can just talk about books. That's my plan. So tentatively lock in either next week or the week after. That's so vague. Probably, yeah, maybe next Sunday or the Sunday after. Because I don't want to do it too close to Christmas because people are busy. No one wants to sit and hear me talk for forever when we've got things to do. So maybe next Sunday. We'll see. I'd love to hear Aussie Christmas facts. Yeah, I feel like a lot of times in your live shows, it ends up coming into conversation. Like I'm always in the comments being like, oh, I think we actually did have this conversation one time maybe it was like last Christmas. We were discussing how there's like an Aussie Jingle Bells. There's Jingle Bells, but it's an Australian version. So yes, I'll give you a little teacher presentation on Christmas for a Christmas book show live. So almost lock it in. Don't lock it in, but almost lock it in. I hope it'll be fun. I don't know. I don't know if anyone wants to hear me talk, but yeah. Anyway, I think I've been here forever, so I need to make sure my child isn't being crazy. And yeah, that's today's book club's discussion. I'm tired. I need to go back to bed. Yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for reading along. No book in December, so we don't need to worry about that. Just come along to hang out if you like. And then, yes, almost lock in January's book as lessons in chemistry. So if you need to get library holds in, whatever. Not 100% confirmed, but slightly confirmed. And then maybe Luna Love for February. I did tell Lacey, I don't know, I had a Shrek book that I was kind of thinking about, but I don't think that's way too far out of my comfort zone. So I think we maybe just stick to things that are safer. So I'm thinking Luna Love, maybe, for February. It just fits with the theme. But yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, Amber, as well. It's really fun having a little chat about books. It's fun doing the book clubs where we can go into like spoilers. Because like, I don't know, talking about books is fun. Clearly, we all like talking about books. But yes, anyway, I'm going to leave now because it's been an hour and a half. So happy reading, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, evening, or morning, whichever one applies to you. And yeah, I will see you in live show format maybe next week. And Lacey, I'll be in the comments of your live tomorrow, but I've DNF'd the book, so. But I'll be there to hang out. So yes,